The Nashville Hospital Authority stripped its outgoing CEO yesterday of most of his duties. Dr. Joseph Webb's last day on the job will be Friday, and he's not going out on a high note. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Kelsey Gibbs. Investigative reporter Jennifer Krause has been covering the growing controversy surrounding the longtime head of Nashville General Hospital. And Jennifer, yet there is another development with this story.
That's right. We found hospital credit card receipts that show how Dr. Webb paid to move his daughter across the country, while we now know where Dr. Webb was the Sunday morning after he announced he was leaving his position with the hospital.
That I was extremely upset at the way that our government treated my sister and my dear friend.
The service 2 Sundays ago at the Cathedral of Praise Church in Bordeaux seemed very personal for Pastor Jerry Maynard. This was just days after the Nashville Hospital Authority informed Maynard's company, run by his sister, that its contract for marketing and lobbying work was being terminated. And after Nashville General CEO Dr. Joseph Webb announced he was stepping down from the job after getting a vote of no confidence from board members. And an investigation by Metro auditors that found evidence of fraud, waste, and policy violations by the hospital's top leadership.
Will you join me in leaping for joy?
Much of Maynard's message that morning appeared directed at his sister Misha, who's also a pastor at the church, and the man just across the aisle from her, none other than Dr. Webb, whom Maynard repeatedly referred to during the service as his friend.
And I was bitter and I was angry because of what they had did to my family and my friend. And I was like, oh, I'm not somebody's going to pay a price.
Webb, who insiders say has long attended the former Metro councilman's church, hired Community Health Marketing, where Maynard is a managing partner, nearly 10 years ago.
I think Metro General Hospital would be far better off to utilize that money at Metro General Hospital.
But critics over the years, like Steve Glover, who was on the council at the time, have loudly criticized the hefty deal. The current contract pays Maynard's company more than $37,000 a month, as Metro taxpayers give Nashville General nearly $70 million in subsidies to keep the hospital open.
The taxpayers cannot afford this crap.
Then less than 2 weeks ago, as the hospital board began to question whether Dr. Webb should remain on the job, Maynard was quoted in a Nashville Banner article criticizing the board's racial makeup.
I'm surprised and offended by the quotes in that story by Nashville General Hospital's political consultant, Jerry Maynard.
Something some say led in part to the termination of Maynard's contract.
There are also questions about spending, about hiring practices under your leadership.
For more than a month, Webb has repeatedly turned down our request for an interview. But after the last Hospital Authority board meeting, we did manage to ask him about one of his employees.
Can you specify?
Your daughter being hired?
No, we don't want to get into that. There are no policy violations there. There are a number of individuals who work here who are related to one another.
Last summer, the hospital posted a help wanted ad for a director of operations position. They had 80 resumes to go through for the job, and some of these people had years and years of experience. But the person they hired had barely a year. Raina Webb, the then 26-year-old daughter of the CEO, got a $132,000 a year job to oversee more than half a dozen key departments at the hospital. She also, we found, got a $10,000 signing bonus. And we discovered her father used his hospital-issued credit card to pay nearly $6,000 to move her back to Nashville from California. And according to his credit card statements, Webb has not covered any other hospital employee's move, at least in the last year. But Webb told us he didn't want to talk about it.
But this is your daughter who was hired for a $132,000 job with little experience overseeing key departments.
I'm not going to get into discussing family members, okay? Let's don't do that.
But she's an employee of the hospital.
Maynard told the church that this is all part of God's plan.
As I've allowed some things to happen to your friend and your sister.
And he assured the congregation, glancing frequently both at his sister and Dr. Webb, that things will only get better.
You don't know what plan I got for your friend and your sister. You don't know what I'm about to do in their life.
Now, in the termination letter that Maynard's company received, the hospital authorities cited the section in the contract that states either party may terminate the agreement with 30 days written notice. This letter was sent February 28th. The contract will now end March 31st rather than the end of June.